Welcome to the RentRedi demo. What I'm walking through today is the landlord side of RentRedi as well as a bit of the tenant side. What I have up here is the landlord's dashboard. So this is the place you can come to see anything you might need to do at any given time. So I have here my calendar, my tasks, pre-qualifications and applications I have for screening tenants, any rent and maintenance as well. Anytime I go into one of these sections, for example, if I go to properties in the top right-hand side, I can see these filters across the top that let me see helpful views, like how many of my units are occupied, how many are vacant, or even what's expiring in the next 90 days. The really nice thing about this is when I come into this particular unit, I can say, okay, is Ryan going to rent for me again? I can contact him and see if he's going to re-sign for the next lease, or I can actually list out the unit. This can go out to Zillow, Trulia, HotPads, Realtor.com, and even a RentRedi listing that you could put up to Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist or your own website as well. So I can come in here, I can add any of the unit amenities for my particular unit, any of the property amenities and photos that I want, and I can blast that out to all of those different platforms just by using RentRedi. So I don't have to go create accounts on each of these different listing sites. I can syndicate it out to everywhere I'd like and nowhere I don't, so that I can start getting people into the unit and pre-qualifying or applying. Once that's actually listed up there, I might get a pre-qualification through. And this actually came from landlords on the RentRedi platform saying, I want to meet with the best tenants I possibly can, not just the first ones that reach out. And so this gives you a quick chance to see that. It's a short 10 questions where a potential tenant writes in and says, okay, I have a corgi. If I don't accept dogs in my unit, maybe DJ isn't a good fit for me. Or pets are totally fine for me. He's in a good credit and income range. So it seems like, assuming everything else checks out, that DJ might be a really good fit. And so at this point, I could accept this particular pre-qualification. I could ask them to schedule some time to view my unit and to submit an application. And I can also customize this. So this is what RentRedi provides you by default to make things easy for you, but you can always come in here and save a new template and make it customized however your process is as well. After someone actually goes through that application, I can actually see that application pop up right on my dashboard. I'll get a notification via email to let me know that application has been submitted, and I'd be able to see all of the information for this. I can edit it in this particular view. I can view a credit, criminal, and eviction report as well, or I can also view the submitted application that has been signed by the tenant. So I can actually see what they signed, everything that was originally written on this application. So if I ever need to print that out or bring that anywhere, I have that version as well. Once a tenant is actually accepted from this process, I can choose the accept button in the top right-hand corner. I can actually have them sign the lease directly through RentRedi. And then at that point, they're ready to start paying rent or handle any maintenance or communication that they're doing on the platform, which is the bottom two squares I have here on the dashboard. So within the rent section, I can view anything that's due, overdue, or paid in any given period of time, and I can take any actions that I need to on that. The really nice thing is, from the tenant perspective as well, I can actually come in and I can set up a payment method. I can set up credit boosting and my insurance as well. So I have this nice onboarding as a tenant on the right-hand side. So I can actually set up this payment method. I can set up auto pay, so I don't even have to think about paying rent. It pays the amount that I want on the day that I want every single month. I can even report that rent to credit bureaus. So I'm actually building my credit just by paying rent on time on RentRedi, which for tenants is great because I'm building my credit. And for landlords is great because I'm getting my tenants to pay rent on time. So it's really a win-win for both sides of things. And then lastly, I can upload my insurance policy and provide that to the landlord, or if I'm on the landlord side, I can view that insurance policy that the tenant has gotten or the terms associated with that. And even if the tenant gets that insurance policy through RentRedi, I can always come into my renters section from the dashboard here, and I can see who's downloaded in the app and connected, who has renter's insurance, and if it's through RentRedi, I'll even be able to see if they've canceled it or added it back in, and then ultimately who has auto pay set up and for what day of the month. If I come in here, I can see exactly how much they've set up for auto pay and on what day of the month that they've set it up to pay on. And then the maintenance section here really gives me a chance to understand any issues that have come through. And there's really 3 ways for me to handle my maintenance. Either I can do it myself, and I can come into any particular issue here, and I can view what a tenant has submitted. I can view any video that they've attached if they have attached a video, but I also can add teammates. So if I come to the left-hand side here, I can go to the teammate section and I can add a teammate. So if I'd like to add this teammate in, I'd be able to say, hey, they're a maintenance person at maybe all of my properties, or maybe I have some properties in different states than others, so this particular maintenance person would only help with certain properties. So I can give them access to only the things I'd like them to actually be able to view. When a tenant submits a maintenance request from the app, that maintenance person would get notified. They'd be able to help solve the issue. And one of the really nice things is, since tenants have a mobile app directly on their phone, they could come in and upload a 5-second video of that issue. And again, this came from landlords on our platform that said there's a big difference between a leaking faucet that's a little drip you can throw a bowl under and something that's destroying my kitchen floor. And so being able to actually see that issue for that leaking sink can make a huge difference, whether I'm handling it myself, whether I have a teammate, or I'm using the third option, which is maintenance coordination. So with that option, I can come to the left-hand menu as well. I can add in maintenance coordination, and this would essentially allow me to have Latchel, a partner of RentRedi, find the vendor, schedule with the tenant, have the issue marked complete. Everything updates in my dashboard as if I'm doing it myself or a teammate is doing it, and I get all of the oversight without any of the manual work. So while you're setting up your rent, you'll see that there's a default for rent reminders. So if I come in and I select a unit, I'll have the option to go to these charge details here. And RentRedi tries to apply smart defaults that are based on what other landlords have done before and been successful for them. So you can see here that by default, I will have my tenants set up to be notified the day rent is due and every day after if they don't happen to pay on time. However, I can actually click edit here and I can add additional rules if I want. And then additionally to that, not only do I have those rent reminders, which will send out by email and by push notification, but I can actually send those push notifications. You can customize both the email and push notification that you send to tenants when you're sending out a custom notification here. In the top left-hand corner of RentRedi here, I'll have the burger menu. Underneath that, I have the option for accounting. Accounting is an add-on where I can come into here, and if I have it enabled, I'll be able to log in. When I log into this REI Hub accounting add-on through RentRedi, I'll see that I have my dashboard, all of my operating cash flow. I have all of my properties automatically synchronized from RentRedi into here, so I don't have to manually set up those properties. And in fact, I'll even have all of my revenue, all of my transactions of any tenants paying on RentRedi automatically synchronized within here as well. So I'll be able to log in, see any of my properties, any of my revenue. I'll be able to record any expenses that I would like to record. And ultimately what this leads to is an easier way to get to these reports at the end here: the net income, the P&L by property, income by unit, net operating income, and really importantly for tax season, the Schedule E. All of that done in a really simple way where I don't have to necessarily set up a bunch of extra things in order to get these important reports. All I have to do is come into RentRedi, enable this, and everything starts syncing across for me. And the final two portions on the dashboard here are calendars and tasks. So if I'm using my calendar, I can sync that up with Google Calendar. Everything will be pulled automatically into the RentRedi dashboard right here. Any showings that I have with tenants will be pulled into this calendar. Any tasks that I have for myself, like fixing any gutters, will be pulled in here as well. And then lastly, notifications if I need to communicate with the tenant. So say I have that maintenance issue where I have to shut off water in a particular property for one day. Or one portion of a day even. I could come in here rather than going and sticking those notes on every single door. I could come notify all of my tenants with push notifications or with email or both. And I can send this out to a single unit if it only applies to that. I can send it out to an entire property, or I can even send this out to all properties, all of my tenants, so that they know about any message I'd like. And I can customize that both for the push notification that goes to their mobile phone or also to their email. In the bottom right-hand screen of the dashboard here, you'll see this blue icon, which I can click. We offer a full set of support features, so our landlords are never on their own. You can message us through live chat. You can call us for one-on-one demos, onboarding, or help. You can even email us, and a real human will connect with you. And the same thing applies for all of your tenants. Anytime a tenant goes into the mobile app, they'll have the same icon in the bottom right-hand corner of their screen. They can pop that open and shoot us a live chat message. We can co-browse with them if they need. They can even call us and we'll help them. And essentially that brings me back to the dashboard, which again is really just my place to know anything I need to do at any given time and jump into any portion of managing my properties I need to in an easier way. And that's really what RentRedi strives to do, is allow you to have all of the control that you want, but none of the manual work that you don't. I started working on it because I wanted to solve my own problem, but I truly fell in love with solving both sides of it. A lot of landlords are trying to achieve financial freedom in some way. If they didn't have a good way to manage those units, or they kept doing everything on spreadsheets, they eventually throw their hands up saying, I can't do this. To me, that was sad, that hurt. I felt like if we could provide something that allowed people to spend time with their family or their friends, or put that kid through college, retire early, go on a few extra vacations, whatever financial freedom looks like for them, they have the ability to actually achieve that dream by using RentRedi.